Good evening, Sahabet. Good evening all. Good evening, guys. Good evening. Good evening. Trust everyone is doing great. As you're coming in, like and share the video just to bring us a little bit of updates. So while I'm taking Dave Philip, good evening, sir. Dave Philip, Bobble, go. Good evening. Good evening, guys. It's just gonna be, as usual, a very quick one. As you're coming in, like, share the video. Basically, just to give us a bit of rundown. Ijele, the great Ijele, as we all know him, Chukwu Kofe. Don't call me now, man. He was in court today. So the bail application has been heard, and the Honorable Court moved the bail ruling to 14th of this month, which is Friday. It's not too far. It's not too far. Mohammed Aminu, Inakwana Baba, Antashi, Geri, Jiki. So the bail application has been moved to Friday, 14th of this month. And we're waiting for the Honorable Court to rule. So just to bring us up to speed, it's just the court process we're following. In all instances, these guys have been throwing up all kinds of drama. And this is not me. Oluchi, good evening, good evening, good evening. This is not me trying to taunt the police, prosecutor, or the other party, but all their, all they've been doing is absolutely shenanigan. First, nothing is surprising anyway. The same police prosecutor that has asked from Abuja, the magistrate court, to unlawfully, maliciously remand Chukwu Kofebu in Kefi Correctional Center for 56 days, claiming he's investigating the case. Up to today, the 11th of June, he has not concluded his investigation. And this calls for questioning from me, per se. I don't know if he's investigating World Trade Center activities or 9/11, or if he's investigating the Holocaust. This shows how poor most of these guys are in their thinking, because they are used to, without missing word, they are used to all these shenanigans, all this sort of abuse of statecraft. When I say abuse of statecraft, the police is part of it. Abuse of judicial process. That is why a civil matter, this is not felony, this is not a criminal matter, this is not a matter of national interest. This is purely a civil matter on the grounds of cyberbullying, cyber stalking, criminal intimidation and threat to life. And a prosecutor that has, spent almost 80 days till this day is still, saying he's investigating. And the funny thing is this, I will say this, I'm not prejudicing anything. On the 7th, he submitted his counter affidavit. Funny enough that post I made, write-ups I put out, is what he went and copied from the page to submit to a court as part of his investigation. Oh my goodness. Now I know why criminals are walking free in Nigeria and innocent citizens are being harassed by the police. When I say the police, not the entire Nigerian police, but, you know, officers of this caliber, they are the ones, you know, who are putting the police in bad light. And unfortunately, the Nigerian police force is an institution. You cannot criticize it without being honest to yourself. You know, you can't pick on an individual and criticize. Most of us who work within or who has worked in organizations or parastatal, if an organization or institution comes under the watchlight, it is being criticized. They don't pick on individual. It is for the institution to internally do their homework, criticize, you know, discipline whoever is responsible for this. I mean, I think the Nigerian police, they have a lot of works on their hand to do. If a civil matter of this nature with all evidence abound on both sides. Now, I don't even want to go back to the, you know, issue of this guy, the police prosecutor, compromising the judicial process, you know, going to magistrate court 2 to get an illegal remand order, knowing too well that the court lacks jurisdiction. They have played their card, detained illegally, detained Chukwuka Ofebu for 56 days. In fact, the day they'll make it the 56, when they know that they've exhausted, you know, the stipulation of the law, that they can't go beyond it, they now started running helter-skelter. They now ran to Lagos, but the case is before, you know, the Federal High Court in Lagos. When they know too well, there's already a case instituted by Chukwuka Ofebu in Federal High Court Abuja. I wouldn't discuss those because those are legal matters. You know, I wouldn't say much. Now, this same police officer, since 20th or 19th of March, since 21st, that he was first remanded illegally in Kefi Correctional Center, he prayed the magistrate court that he needs 14 days to investigate. 14 days gone, no investigation concluded, no case heard. You know, the Ijele team of lawyers applied for bail. Most of us know how it happened. On the 18th of April, the case was ruled. Case struck out based on lack of jurisdiction. The same police prosecutor compromised Magistrate Court 11 to shop for, you know, an illegal remand order, and they continued their illegal remand till the 15th of May, 2024. Until date, children, leave the cat alone. Come on. Till the 15th of May, you know, when the whole thing, they moved it to Lagos through another what? Illegal process, which the case is pending. They are trying to run away from it. Ijele and his legal team said no, that case must continue. There's no, you know, there's no out of court settlement. Now, this same police prosecutor, on the 7th, which is last week Friday, all the days, almost 70 days, 75 days, on his so-called investigation, the same affidavit, the same, you know, shenanigan they submitted in Abuja is what they dusted up. The only fresh thing they added to it was a post I made, you know, less than a week ago, is what they added as part of the investigation. I mean, now I know why most Nigerians, many of us who live in Nigeria, are truly worried about the Nigerian police. I will say this: they have officers that do not know their job. In fact, most of them, most of them are there not to even work for the institutions or to work to ensure that, you know, justice is served in all matters, but they are there to work for whoever that will grease their palms. Now, let me just give an example now. Most of us last week, we've seen how the social media was agog with the 2 missing girls. I do not mean to be insensitive to the family and Andrew, you know, the guy Andrew. Now, any sane human being will question everything the police did. What will it take the police to ensure that such suspects who is in their custody is safely guarded, to ensure that every investigation will go the way it ought to go? Because there are so many, how will I put it? There are so many questions, but what did we see? The police acted in their usual extrajudicial manner. Next thing, I don't know how a suspect of that involved in such a case will be allowed to drive in his own vehicle. Now I begin to ask questions. Now, the Nigerian police force needed these suspects in Abuja. Should they travel by road? The answer is no. What will it take the Nigerian police to fly that guy safely from the closest airport to get him in Abuja and, interrogate him, investigate, ensure that justice is served? In this case, what the actions and inactions of those police officers did, they have what? Obstructed justice. Because the families of these two innocent, beautiful girls will not get justice. And I hope the Ghanaian government put pressure on the Nigerian government to ensure justice. Now, the culprit is dead. Who would they interview? Who would they know? Other accomplices. Who would they know? How would they establish if truly this is about organ harvesting? If truly these guys are working with, there are so many things. In fact, those police officers should be arrested, tried, not until the Nigerian police decide to sit up as an institution, begin to discipline all these officers who are acting in this manner. Don't get me wrong, every country has a police force. They are there to protect lives and property. They are there to investigate. You don't expect the military to get involved in such cases. Now, let me use this Andrew as an example. How did Andrew end up dead? The minute they killed him, that means investigation is gone. Who will you interview? When cases of this nature, what the police need to do is to safeguard the suspect or the culprit, to ensure that he's safe, to ensure that nothing, is not on harm's way, so that he will be able to give them every information, every details they want. And you see them tomorrow, they start writing affidavit detective. I mean, this is not a detective. What you guys are, cowboys. I'll say it. I mean, I don't know why most of us Nigeria think is cool. Oh, don't call the police. You're mentioning the entire police. No. In England, the Scotland Yard is under heavy criticisms. They criticize every actions of a single police officer. They don't single out that police officer. What they criticize is the Scotland Yard. And they take responsibility for any actions of their officers, and they deal with it as an institution. I'll give another example now. Come. An off-duty police officer was involved in a fight. This is an off-duty police officer. He went out to somewhere with his family. I don't know what happened. There was an altercation. They got into a fist fight. When they called the police, they realized that that guy was a police officer off duty. Not only he was sanctioned, the Mets came under heavy criticisms. Remember, he wasn't on duty. That was his day off. He went out with his family just like any other person. But somehow, there was a situation. He got into a fight. Somebody got injured. When prior to investigation, they realized this is an active serving police officer. The police came under the radar. They were heavily criticized. In fact, I give another example for those who live in England or the UK. They will know this case very well. This particular incident happened as far back as 31 years ago. Till date, the Met is still criticized. It is, because what happened, it was a young black kid that was, knifed, let me be sensitive with the word. So the investigation was kind of, shady, that they let the 5 suspects off the hook. To date, this is 31 years on. To date, the Met is still under the criticisms. They have done investigation that to date the public are crying that irrespective of whatever has happened, these 5 guys needs to face justice. Now, people may not understand the importance of the police in a society. So this family of these 2 young girls, they cannot get justice. They cannot get justice. What the police did, those officers involved, they know the malicious and criminal role they played. Likely, in the usual way, they must have extorted him and decided to do away with him. The IG is not enough to put out press statements. The police bureau is not enough to put out press statements. It is time the Nigerian police will sit up as an institution, begin to take their business serious, and make an internal mechanism that no officers of such that are found wanting that should even be let off the hook. That is simple truth. Because now, how would they explain to the families? How did their daughter die? The main culprit, in fact, most things are happening. I didn't even want to add my 2 cents. Now, let me go back to the case of Ijele. The prosecutor is now crying that he's afraid of his life. Ijele doesn't threaten anybody. He didn't make no threat to you. Rather, the prosecutor should be prepared in due time to explain to the court how you will illegally hold somebody for 56 days. You've not concluded investigation. To date, you're still dragging your foot. I don't even want to say certain things. This prosecutor was running away from submitting a counter affidavit. For how long do they think they can go on with this? For how long? And I don't even want to mention the associated persons, the criminal god of man. Their lies will catch up with them. Yes, it's a legal process. We are patient. We'll follow this through. We've been on it. Ijele is not broken. In fact, he is mentally sound. He is prepared for this long legal haul, and he's willing to go through it. Guys, let me just bring this out here. And since the prosecutor relies on getting information or exhibit from the page, he can as well come and copy this video, submit it to the court as well. He can only get away with such, abuse of the system because he simply believes, he's a police officer serving under the Nigerian police. In a system that is working, by now he should be facing disciplinary measures. This is not a blunder. This is not an obvious mistake. This is a police prosecutor compromising the whole system, abusing the process, and today he's crying wolf. Nigeria is the only country we have. Some can say, oh, most of you are in diaspora, crying more than the bereaved. No. Nigeria is my country of birth. Irrespective of where I find myself today. First, I identify myself as a Nigerian, and I remain a Nigerian. Because of what? Tomorrow, they can decide to strip me of whatever citizenship and ask me to go back. Officially, I'm a Nigerian, whether I like it or not. When you fill official document, they ask you place of birth, country of birth. Which is Nigeria. So that is it. So for most of us who have been so worried that there's not much information coming from the page, we would not say everything, and I will not come here to discuss any legal operations by the legal team. All I can say, they are doing everything they are supposed to do legally, and they are not, shying away from it. It is the other party that have been running from it, and today is hello, Mr. Man, come back. Leave the dog alone. And today, they are the ones trying to play the victim. Hello. Hi. Come. So, I said, while I'm taking a quick evening walk, the bail application will be ruled on Friday. We are waiting for the bail to be ruled. And definitely, legal fireworks are going to come from both parties. We are prepared. We are just taking it one step at a time. And though they've tried to see how they can withdraw the case in Abuja, and they have come to realize that that case has to go on, it's not going to, there's no out-of-court settlement in this. The case has to go on, except otherwise, Ijele decides to change his mind. But for now, that is the situation of things. And to this police prosecutor, I wouldn't mention your name, but then I think your superiors need to review you and probably send you for more training if you like, if you need to get that more administrative training, you need it. Because you cannot waste government resources for over 3 months and you're crying, you're still investigating. I ask you these days, officer, what are you investigating? Detective, what are you investigating? Are you investigating that if you are to be involved in investigating a wire fraud or a difficult, case, that means you need the whole of the century. I mean, your shenanigans are over. Your time wasting are over. It is time for the case to go into trial. Running away, changing charge sheet, all those things are over. Can you now accept that it is time for the case, the trial to commence? That is all we are asking. That is all we are asking. That is all we are asking. Stop wasting the time of the court. And stop trying to play the victim. And stop trying to play the ostrich. Guys, this is just what I wanted to put out here. Maybe I will make another post. I think I made a post this night. He can as well come and take the post I made tonight. And go and submit to the court as well. Hello! Come on. Come here. He can as well come and take the post. What are you exploring? It's late. Let's go. He can as well come and take the post I made tonight as part of his evidence or as part of his investigation and ongoing investigation. And let him remember, you can't continue wasting everybody's time. The time wasting is gone. Definitely, Ijele has sued for his fundamental human right to be enforced. You cannot run away from it as a prosecutor because you were served, you were directly sued, you're angry. You're going to get sued. Definitely. You can't abuse somebody's fundamental human right and think you can walk away. You can do that with other Nigerians, but next time, when you get involved in a case, try to do what the law says. Stop working for any party. You are there as an officer to uphold the law, to protect the interests of the law, not to work for any party or not to compromise or not to be taking sides. Thank you guys. Good evening all and speak to you soon.